the WIHS Journal. On today's broadcast, we will try to encourage families who have a heart and a connection for children in Connecticut who need a home in the foster care system. Well, today in the WIHS studio with me, I was so blessed to have the Urban Alliance Ministry and also the Village. And together they are a team to take children in your home if you feel led. And also in the broadcast with us today, we have an amazing testimony from a foster mom. So all these three ladies in accord, in sync for children here in Connecticut. Stay tuned for all the details. Well, today in the WIHS studio, I am surrounded by three lovely ladies, and we're talking about an amazing topic today. It's about being a foster parent for a high-level therapeutic families. That's right. You'll be trained to be therapeutic families for children who really need you. And in the broadcast studio with us today, we have a foster mom. She'll be talking about her experience. And we also have two other organizations with us today. We have Urban Alliance, and then we also have the Village for families and children. And I'm just going to have you first introduce yourself, Chella, for our listeners, and tell us a little bit about the Urban Alliance, and then we will have Christy go.
Sure. Thank you for having us.
Yes.
Again, my name is Chela Rodriguez, and I work for Urban Alliance. I've been there for about 10 years. I am an initiative manager there. And Urban Alliance is a Christian nonprofit organization. Our mission is to demonstrate Christ's love through practical service. We dedicate ourselves to connecting programs to support by providing training, resources, and network opportunities. We connect partners to resources through our partnership with World Vision and their distribution center. We distribute over $10 million in supplies and resources to programs and people who need it most. And with the help of volunteers and partners, we assemble and distribute care packages, mental health kits, and teacher appreciation packages. And also we connect people to opportunities through our collective impact opportunities. We coordinate efforts to work alongside our partners. We provide free food distributions and community health events and foster care recruitment, which is what we're talking about here today. We try to bridge the church and the community to need its resources and address needs. And we partner with Christian churches and community allies like the Village because we do believe that better together is the way we serve people best.
Wow, that is a busy organization. And our goal today is talking about foster care and just a way to help our children here in the state of Connecticut. Now we also will hear from the Village for families and children. Just introduce yourself, talk about, your role there, and then a little bit about the organization.
Great. So yes, thank you for having us today. My name is Christy George, and I am one of the team members at the Village's foster care program. Our mission is a mission that's 200 years old, and it's really to build a community of strong, healthy families who protect and nurture children. So our foster care program, we look for families who are willing to support some of Connecticut's most vulnerable youth to provide them with a loving, structured, and nurturing home environment in which we work in partnership with our agency to support the kids and families.
That's awesome. I'm glad that you guys all correlate together. And so we have foster mom also sitting in here. Letitia, tell us about how many children have you had and how long have you been a foster mom?
Hi, I'm Letitia. I have been fostering for about a little over 3 years, and I think I've fostered maybe about, not too many, maybe 7 or 8 kids so far.
And what kind of support does the Village provide for you and your youth care? Because that's something that we're focusing on today.
The Village, I could not foster without them. So they provide classes, training, visits via clinicians, therapy, just all around support.
Yeah. What are some of the best rewards about being a foster mom?
Some of the best rewards is just having the opportunity to make a positive impact, right? Because a lot of the children that, come through have had a lot of different experiences, and just having the opportunity to just create an environment where they're able to feel loved and accepted and nourished in their transition or whatever process they're in is just the greatest opportunity of all.
Awesome. I love to hear stuff like that. Well, what are some of the challenges that the youth have been through, experiencing, and when they come into your home?
I would say some of the challenges are their ability to maybe receive that love. You have to have a lot of patience and understanding with them. Sometimes because they have been moved around so much, it can take a little bit of time for them to adapt to the environment, and maybe sometimes they're not able to adapt to the environment as much as, we try to support them. Some of them may not have the capacity to receive, what it is that you're trying to do to impact them at that time.
I love that. And knowing what you know now, what kind of advice would you give yourself at the beginning of your journey as a foster parent?
Have patience and just be a little bit more. I think, when you first start fostering, you just think that things are going to, you compare it to the experiences that you've had with your own children. So being mindful, you just need to have patience and understanding and not to take it personally, right? Because maybe you are trying to give them something that they just don't have the capacity to receive at the time, but it's not about you personally.
Okay. Well, if you're tuning in right now to this broadcast, I am talking to foster mom Letitia, and I also have two other organizations here from Connecticut. We have Urban Alliance, and we also have the Village for Families and Children, and they correlate together to make a wonderful transition for our children here in Connecticut. One of the things before we go on to the Village and talk about the other organizations, what would you say to anyone who's contemplating right now, they're on the edge about becoming a foster parent? What would you say to them?
I would say this is an excellent opportunity to make an impact in our community and to make a difference in someone else's lives. I think it's an important position, that we fulfill, just whatever time frame that you are able to have to be that light to a child is definitely worth the while.
Okay. So now we're going to go back to the Village. We'll talk to Christy George. Tell us some of the challenges that the children that come into this program, why they're a little bit higher care compared to a different program.
Right. That's such a good question. The kids that we provide support for have been in situations and have had life experiences that have left them wounded. And what we look for is a foster family who will open up not only their home, but their heart to allow space for kids to heal. Kids that, can't be with their families of origin or their biological families, that leaves a lot of hurt and pain and suffering. And we really work in close partnership with our foster families, with other agencies to provide the support that they need to heal. The work is tough, but the work is rewarding. And, it takes a village. And I love that that's our name because that's really the reality. It takes a village. And we have a really strong support network within our agency and within the Hartford community.
So if a mom or dad, like I said, they're on the edge, would they contact Urban Alliance, but the Village would be training them and then you would get them certified to be foster parents? Is that the way this works?
Yes, yeah. So we are the child placing agency. And so our licensing process is one where we spend a lot of time with families to make sure that that's a good fit and that they're desire to help kids and their availability to meet the needs of the kids and their willingness to work in partnership to fulfill their calling and their mission to make an impact.
So tell us about the training. We can talk about that because I've worked with DCF for so many years. I know that there's significant hours of training that you have to go through. Is it a little bit higher than that? Maybe you can talk about that.
So we've actually recognized that the training is available now virtually for families to make it more convenient to participate. There's 2 tracks that we have for training, but we generally try to offer evening hours to make it convenient for families, virtual to make it convenient for families, and that's one piece of the licensing process.
What would you say to a foster parent, Christy, that are you looking for certain attributes in them that when you meet them, can you tell if they're able to handle these children?
I love that question. And yeah, so we look for families that have a internal or an intrinsic desire to really make a life better for a child. A family who is willing to work as a part of a team, a family that is flexible and available and able to, show up for the child in their home, whether it's at a meeting or it's on the sidelines of a sporting event. So that flexibility, that availability, that desire to really make an impact and work in partnership with the agency.
So we also have Urban Alliance, and we also have Mrs. Rodriguez. You want to talk about what is the process once they call you? Let's talk about how all that takes place.
Well, our hope is after folks hearing about the ways that they can serve, that they would reach out to me. I'll provide some information on how they may do that. When they contact us, there is a screening process that we go through just to make sure that, just very practically, that they have the capacity, the physical capacity, their home and such, just to make sure that all aligns. And then we reach out to the village. And as Christy explained, they take it from there and make sure that they take care of folks and go through that process to ensure that these are viable candidates. And so our hope is, as an entity, we've partnered with the village because, similar to the village, we care about young people thriving, all kids, kids in all different walks of life with different life experiences. They all deserve to be loved, and they deserve to be cared for. And so as a Christian organization, that's part of who we are.
Yes.
So there is no question of whether or not we're going to participate in this, but how can we help? And so one of the ways we do that is to spend time with you all and to spend time with the Christian community, sharing about the ways that they can engage in this work. And there are different ways they can do that. They can certainly become a therapeutic mom or a therapeutic dad, but there are ways you can volunteer. There are ways that you can support actual families that are already doing the work. Our hope is that when they call, we can share the different opportunities that we have available for them to be involved in some way, shape, or form. And of course, for those who want to respond to that missional call, that's the way we see it. We recognize that this may not be for everyone, but this is for someone. And we have this fantastic mom sitting right beside me. She responded to that missional call in her life. There have got to be other Letitias in our community who are also, when they hear this, it's going to resonate with them, and they know I was born for this. And so that is our desire. And again, when they call, we hope to guide them through that process and then hand them off to an organization who cares about this work, and they show it. Correct.
It has to be about a calling, and
Absolutely.
I hope that God will give you that discernment for that. I enjoyed hearing Letitia all about how God has prepared you to be a foster mom, and thank you so much for doing that for God's children. And we heard from Christy George from the Village for Children and Families. Any other details that you would like to convey to our listeners we didn't talk about today?
Well, I certainly want to provide some contact information for those who are listening and want to reach out to us. So you may contact me at 860-986-6052. Again, that's 860-986-6052. Or you may email me at fostercare@urbanalliance.com. One more time, that's fostercare@urbanalliance.com. I am anxiously waiting for your call or your email.
Yes. So that was Achella Rodriguez. So do you think that we touched on anything? Anyone else want to convey a thing of hope before we close the broadcast today?
I would just say this is just a really excellent opportunity to just be present and be there for someone, especially, a child, whatever opportunity and impact that you are able to have. This is such an important role, an important opportunity. I don't take it lightly, and it has an impact on you. So it's a work that's needed, and we just hope, from hearing up from us today that, people will have the will to want to join us, because we need as many hands on deck as we can. It does definitely take a village.
And I would add that now more than ever, there have been some changes in life, changes to the foster care system, and there are children waiting for homes. Today, I was asked how many kids do we have waiting, and there's more than a dozen kids right now that need homes that we don't have. So if you've been thinking about this, if you have talked to anyone about it, I say take that first step. Take that first step and let's talk. Let's see if this is the right time for you, because there are lots of children out there, even outside of the greater Hartford area, that need homes.
Once again on the broadcast with us was the Urban Alliance Ministry and also the Village, together teaming up to help children here in Connecticut, and they are looking for families who have a heart to help children here in Connecticut to be foster parents. And then, of course, you heard the amazing testimony from the foster mom, how these children not only have changed, but they have enhanced her life. For more details about how to foster a children through these ministries, the Urban Alliance, and then, of course, the Village, you can contact WIHS. Our phone number is 860-346-1049. I'm Anissa Porticelli for News and Public Affairs.